I see so much hope in people. You know, even though it may be a struggle, for the most part, we try to make changes for the best. And ultimately, what keeps me going is my strong spiritual belief. I feel God can work miracles for us. I think God reaches us through other people, and we are encouraged from one another. So that's what keeps me going. My name is Dr. Earl Crosswright. I'm from Pensacola, Florida. I grew up on 12th and Young Streets on East Hill. Had a wonderful experience in growing up here in Pensacola. Had a chance to attend parochial school and went on to Washington High School, where I found that experience to be fantastic. I left Pensacola after high school and went off to college. Attended Washington, I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and up to Howard University for med school. I returned back to Pensacola in 1993, where I opened up my practice in family medicine. Since practicing here in Pensacola for 21 years, I've noticed quite a change, some good and some we're still making some strides in. I love Pensacola, great beaches, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and I look forward to other changes that may take place here in Pensacola. Just viewing my practice, and if it's a reflection of Pensacola, we have a lot of work to do to make changes or to actually help our community. We have a lot of work to do because diabetes and hypertension, cardiovascular disease is increasing. And it has a lot to do with our size. The diseases of hypertension and diabetes has increased, and again, it's a direct correlation to obesity. That is brought about, again, I think through behavior, cultural, decrease in our activity level or exercise, and an increase in the consumption of unhealthy foods. Some ways that people can be successful in tackling their obesity or overweight, it's one, to become aware and recognize that they would like to make a change. And even to be more specific, there's a desire to make that change. Once a person has that desire, I think they're more likely to be successful in losing weight. Like any other disease state, or any obstacle that we may have, once we have a desire for change, a true desire, then we do the things that are necessary to make that change. And it becomes a behavioral change. And with that behavioral change comes a lifelong endeavor. It doesn't have to become a difficult task, but once we are convinced that I'm going to do this, and we start to make some of those changes, it becomes a lifelong behavior. And we become accustomed, we become used to making these changes. With that comes a more comfortable, it becomes more of who you are. And if we are familiar with that, I find that it becomes easier to do. It's no longer a task, but it's part of me. And when it becomes a part of me, along with that desire, then that change has been made. And we can see success with the weight loss. and just overall a healthier person. I consider with obesity as being the disease. We know it's factors dealing with DNA. We know it's factors with that DNA, you have chemical changes. And some of those chemical changes will cause a slowing of metabolism. And those chemical changes usually occur within the brain. And with those aspects going on, like all other diseases, you have chemical changes. That's why I would equate obesity as a disease state that we must deal with. Most times people feel and are gauged by others as a willpower, or a lack of a willpower is why you're obese. But again, we're finding, and we've known this for a while, that there are some chemical changes. And it's most likely equated to DNA, and it may also be equated to environmental exposure that have altered DNA changes, okay? That brings on the slowing of that metabolism, that brings on the difficulty of digesting certain fats and carbohydrates, which leads to the weight gain. And so by recognizing that this is a disease that we are dealing with, that generic prescription for weight loss may not work for everyone. Actually, I haven't seen much of a change as far as in the healthy direction. What I'm seeing is, again, less activity, less exercise. I'm seeing that our diets may pretty much be the same. I would like to see some changes in those with more activity and our eating behavior. I would like to see changes in that. So I don't think it's anyone to blame. I just think it's society. And we have to become more aware of what we're doing. We have to work together better, and again, to encourage one another for that change. We were having a discussion about the diet and the health status of Pensacola. I wouldn't say so much has changed in that, but I think some of the areas that we are looking at trying to make change, such as getting more people involved with exercising compared to what it used to be, where kids were in the parks and riding bikes. When I was growing up, we now see kids that are indoors. So we need to kind of move back to some of those areas of activity. I think we still have a lot to do with trying to change our eating habits and the preparation of our foods so that we can try to be a healthier city in dealing with our obesity problem. One observation that I've made, our community is a very strong community in our religion and our churches. And a lot of times at church events, it's associated also with eating. And I would suggest that during those events and involvement of eating, that the church community really look at the nutritional foods to serve at those events. I think that's a great start to becoming more aware of making the changes in our diets to help us with our weight. To me, a good meal would include vegetables, fruits, seafood. Okay. Maybe we may have to kind of edit that one, but I would love to see foods that are not as heavy, not the amounts reduced. And again, like I say, I would love to see more fruits and vegetables that are served, maybe lighter salads. We have to take a look at the liquids we're consuming. Maybe not so much of the sodas and the drinks, but we have to reduce our sugar intake. So at these events and at churches or at our parks, that we need to serve up more nutritional foods at these events. I gauge success by when I see my patient who's keeping the weight off. That's the physical aspect, but the ultimate success is that how that person actually feels spiritually, emotionally. They're satisfied with the way they look and how they feel. That's the overall success that I see. For the overview of this discussion of dealing with obesity, I think it's three things that we really, I like to leave with people. We have to become aware of the problem. And that awareness and that problem is obesity. Once we acknowledge that awareness, that I have an issue, because some people may not believe that I'm really overweight, but with having that awareness, then secondly, we have to have the desire to change. And the word desire is an internal want to change. It can't be an outside request. It can't be a loved one requesting that you lose weight. It can't be a family member. That is not very successful. You have to have it from within. So the awareness, the desire, and I think the support, okay? And that support can come from your environment, or in this case for Pensacola, our community. And that support comes through a way of maybe through the commercials, the billboards that we're seeing, the creativity of, come on Pensacola, it's time to make a change. And I think with those three areas, we can start down that path of making that change for a better health for our community. You never give up. I personally believe that as a human race, when things get tougher or toughest, I think we're even more motivated to try to help. And I think this is the time, as always, you never want to lose that hope. So as a physician, we have great difficulty of giving up, okay? Because we have a belief that we can make a change. And personally, I know that spiritually, even when I do not see things working based on what I may suggest, spiritually, I know things can change. And I always believe that, and I would hope as a human race, we always believe that.